All right, we're back. So the next thing that we're going to do before we go any farther here is this is going to get complicated unless we can kind of um, separate this. And we want to show what our part looks like versus what our dimensioning lines look like. So what we're going to do is we're going to use layers here. And you can see that on my drawing that these lines that we put in here and our dimensioning lines were all a different color. So how do we do that? We're going to use this layer tab. We haven't really tapped into that much in our class. So if I pull this down, okay, this gives me a new menu and it shows, and we're going to need to do this in future units. So that's why I really want to show you now so we get a little bit used to it here. What we have is we have a 0 layer, and this is our default layer that everything automatically goes onto 0 layer. And then we have a second layer here. This is called def points. We don't really have anything on this layer, but what we can do is I can go here and we'll see if it lets us delete this layer. And then it says it will not delete because these are defined points. The current layer contains objects. So one thing that we can do when we go and click on things in our scene here, this will show us, I'm going to click out of here. When I click on a line here, this should show us what layer this is. So these are all on layer 0. So I'm not going to really mess around with the 2 layers that are already there, but we want to add a third layer that we're going to call dimensioning and layout maybe. So if I go up here, we have 4 different options for here. We have a new layer. We can have a new frozen layer that's going to show up in all of our viewports. This will delete them, and then this will set it as our current. And you can see the check marks here. So I'm just going to go into new layer here, and we're going to call this one, instead of layer 1, let's call it, let's call it dimensioning. Okay. You can just call it dimension. So let's do that and hit accept. And then the other thing that I want to do, I want to change the color of my lines in this layer. So then I know it's kind of a visual guide for me to know that what I'm drawing is different and on a different layer than the other things in my scene. So I'm just going to grab a color here, grab one that you like. This way I know that you are doing your own work, and we're going to do that. So everything that's drawn on this layer should show this magenta for me. You choose your own color, and then I'm gonna close this. So here's what we can do now. I can click on a line, and if I go up here, I can click on dimension, and it will change it and add that line to the other dimension. Okay. So what I'm going to do, actually, let's do this. This is not a dimension. This is a layout line. So I'm going to do 2 layers. Let's go back to layer property here, and we'll call this dimension. So we'll change all these to dimensions. Let's make one more layer, and I think this is going to be best practice here, and we're going to call this layout lines, because those are what we're going to be drawing. So we do need to have those turned on later on as well. And then pick a different color for this. So I'm going to do my layout lines, maybe this bright yellow, so that, and then I can close this because it kind of takes up a lot of space. Now, if I click on these layout lines, okay, now they'll turn yellow, and that's fine. And if I click on these dimension lines and I go up here, I can change those to this magenta color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to multi-click, and all of the lines in here, or if I drag a circle, let's see, if I do this counterclockwise on the inside, it should highlight. No, I'm just going to multi-click. Let's make it quick. These are my layout lines. Those are all going to be yellow. And then I'm going to hit escape, and then I'm going to do all my dimension lines here. And these are all going to be on our dimensioning plan. Okay. And then, so our 0 is going to be our parts layer. Okay. So the holes that we drill in here, we're going to have on our 0 layer, because those are going to be the ones that we actually, that's what the part is actually going to look like. So when I open up this menu, I want this 0 layer to be my current layer of things that I'm drawing on. So if I go here, everything I draw is going to be on these depth point layer. If I go here and I click on the check, it's going to change all my new drawings to dimensioning. For now, I want to have it on this parts. Let's see if it will let us change the name of this here. Rename layer, and no, it can't. So there's always a 0 layer, and that's fine. When we do our plasma cutter, what we want to do is we just want to make everything set to this 0 layer after everything's drawn, because that's going to be how our program over on the computer for the plasma is going to read it. So we are on 0 layer. Let's draw these lines in here. Let's get cracking. We need to add our circles here. So these are the size of the drill bits. Well, these are the size of the drill bits on the drill side. On the left side, these are the dimensions of the holes as well. So we're going to go up and add circles. You remember how to add circles? We're going to do it here. But notice the difference here between our icon, which has the line going all the way through, versus the icon here for the circle. This is radius circle. We want diameter circles. So don't just go click on this, pull this down, and let's go to center diameter. We want center diameter because we need it to give us the full size of the circle, not the radius. So if you notice, it's not letting me click on my intersection here. I have to turn my constraints on. Let's make sure intersection is checked, yes, and turn the blue box on here. And we're just going to go around the Rava here, and I'm going to just, I like to drag this out to make sure it looks correct, and then I'm going to punch in the fractions here. So this is 9/16, so just 9/16. There's one. Okay, let's do the next one. This one's half. So I go into same thing. I'm going to, now if it's showing this center diameter, I hover on it and it shows the arrows on both sides. Now I don't have to pull that arrow down. I just need to click on it. And I can drag this out, and I'm going to type in 1/2 inch. Okay, so 1/2. And then the next one, we're going to go here, and maybe the square here, but this one's 7/16. Enter. This one is 3/8. So you can finish this out here, and 3/8. And then our last one is 1/4 on this side. So before we get too far, what we want to do is actually, I want you to label this on your part, because what happens frequently is students get confused, and we drill these on the wrong side, or we get the dimensions mixed up. So we're going to write the word here, drill side, and then we're going to write the word over here, tap side, so that we don't get them confused later on. And you're going to write that with a marker on your piece as well. So maybe I'll write it right underneath here. So I'm just going to draw this out, and let's just write drill side. Okay, and then this one's going to be, we'll grab text again, and I can drag it out. And this one's going to be tap side. What we want to do, let's add these to, our yellow layer here. I don't want dimensioning. I want to pull this down and layer line. So it won't let me do that if I was in dimensioning. I'm going to click on 1, I'm going to click on 2, and I'm going to add these onto our layout lines, okay? Because those aren't going to be engraved on our piece. Let's just line these up a little bit. But I do want you to write this on your piece on your material with a marker when we lay these out. Now this side, let's add the lines here, or circles. So I'm just going to go over to circles, and I want to change my layer back to 0. Okay, so circle diameter, 0 layer, intersection, and then let's just do this side. So this is 1/2 inch. So 1/2. This one is circle 7/16. 7/16. Yep, and then the next one 3/8. Okay, and the next one's 5/16. And then our last one is 3/16. All right, we are almost done with this. Everything is mostly laid out, except we have to put these radius on here. We're going to do that real quick, and then we'll come back in our last video, and we'll lay out all of our measurements on here for us to have some cheats when we go to lay this out on our metal. So how do I use the radius here? And I want to round these corners off. Let's go up to, there's a tool here, this one. So this is our fillet tool. Okay, if you don't see it, you might have chamfer or blend on top. We want the one that shows the rounded icon, that's fillet. And then we are going to click on my first object. So we're going to click on this line, and then I click on this line, and nothing happened. Why? Okay, so it says select a round object. So the first thing that we need to do when we do this is, it says for select first object, or if we go down here, we want to do the radius. So I'm going to either click on this button that says radius, or I hit R. So it shows up here. Watch, I'm going to hit R and enter. All right, now it asks me, what is the fillet radius of this? And our radius is 1/4 inch. Okay, that means from the center point, it's going to map this out for us, but it's measuring out 1/4 inch from this line in and 1/4 inch from this line up. And it's going to round this off around that corner. So I'm going to type in 1/4 inch, 1/4 or 0.25, enter. Now it's locked in for that measurement, and it should show us this. We do this one. Okay, I can zoom out, and I can go all the way around when I do the fillet tool now. Now, if you notice, it did not let me keep going. Why? Let's go back into our fillet button, and it gives us these options. Do I want undo, polyline, radius, trim, or multiple? Now I want to do multiple because I want to do all 4 of these corners. I got one done. All 3 of these that are left. And I don't want to have to keep clicking on this tool. So I can click on this with my button, or if you notice the M is blue, I can type in M because that's the blue hotkey for it. Hit enter, and now everything is going to go at 1/4 inch for everything that I click on, and it's going to keep me in this tool mode until I hit escape. So there, and then I'm going to go here and here. Now everything is has 1/4 inch radius on it, and we are good to go. All right, we're going to wrap this video up here. We're getting kind of long. We're going to come back in the last one, and we're going to finish dimensioning this out, and we're going to do a wrap up on this video. So on this project, so that we are ready to go into the shop and start laying this out and have an accurate piece. Thanks for joining me in today's draw, and we will see you in the next one.